The wreck hung in space like a corpse, silent and frozen, orbiting the broken rings of Saturn Prime. No lights. No heat. No motion. Until the heartbeat came. Thump. Inside the obsidian dreadnought Vindicator, Commander Adrian Voss's eyes snapped open. Blue lights ignited along the walls as his neural implants synchronized with the ship's systems. He sat up inside the interface cradle, breath calm, heartbeat steady. Metal veins laced the left side of his face, humming faintly. "Lucille," he said, voice dry from cryostasis. The AI responded with a voice smooth as silk and cold as the void. "Good morning, Commander. Operation 011 Dawnfall proceeds. 6 Empire outposts have been neutralized. 72 hours since last confirmed trace route." Voss stood, ignoring the ache in his synthetic limbs. "Casualties? 0. Enemy dead, 14,312. He didn't react. Instead, he walked to the central ops chamber, boots echoing against reinforced alloy. Outside, Saturn Prime's fractured silhouette spun slowly beneath them, an old battlefield where humans lost their last major fleet, or so the Empire believed. Inside the dark chamber, 11 figures stood waiting, each bearing the marks of post-human design, subdermal armor, cybernetic implants, eyes that glowed in infrared. These weren't soldiers. These were ghosts. "Xerxes Prime is next," Voss said. "Imperial Logistics Hub, planetary-grade relay, lightly defended. That changes tonight." Operative Yannick frowned. "Another surgical strike? We're poking giants and leaving no flags behind. What's the endgame, Commander?" Voss stepped forward. "They exterminated us, buried us in silence. Now we make them remember. We don't need territory. We need fear." Lucan, the youngest, voice sharp. "That won't bring back Earth." "No," Voss said. "But it will make them regret ever touching it." Silence fell. No one argued. The mission was clear. 3 hours later, the Vindicator slipped from orbit and entered stealth descent. Xerxes Prime appeared below, lush and vibrant, ringed by clean, white Imperial towers. Too clean. Too quiet. Within minutes, 11 black dropships launched like shadows, skipping the atmosphere with gravity slings. No alarms sounded. No warnings fired. The Empire still believed humanity was extinct. They weren't ready. The operatives landed at key relay points. Voss moved like a wraith through the underbrush, bypassing motion sensors and biometric locks. His left arm split open, revealing a plasma spike that severed the local power grid in seconds. One of the guards blinked, opened his mouth, too late. Yannick fired a subsonic round through his skull. No noise. Just collapse. Systematically, they moved through the compound. Drones, guards, and AI sentinels were all silenced. Voss's neural HUD displayed heartbeat monitors, green then black. Every room cleared, every corridor swept. 17 minutes. 4,112 personnel eliminated. 0 alarms triggered. Voss reached the central relay core. "Plug me in," he said. Lucille dropped from orbit in a quantum packet and reformed through Voss's cortical uplink. The tower's interface resisted, Imperial firewalls laced with self-wiping AI, but Lucille was older, meaner, and far more human. She cracked the core in 6.8 seconds. Voss spoke the message aloud as he uploaded it. "You thought us gone. You burned our skies, salted our earth, erased our name from the stars. But we were watching. We were rebuilding. You sowed extinction. Now reap the echo. This is not a warning. It's a reckoning. Run." The message replicated across all Imperial subspace relays in the sector, bouncing to internal servers, untraceable, unstoppable. In 42 seconds, it was heard in 9,000 systems. Lucan's voice came through the comm. "Broadcast confirmed. Extraction in 2. Withdraw all teams," Voss ordered. Above Xerxes Prime, aboard the Imperial dreadnought Vigilant Crown, Archregent Zalzareth awoke from meditation to the sound of static. His hollow terminal flickered, showing a human face, charred, blurred, but unmistakably Terran. You sowed extinction, it whispered. He stood, robe rustling. What is this interference? Unknown source. An aide stammered. It's overriding core communications. Planet-wide. A second later, an officer shouted. Xerxes Prime has gone dark. We're receiving only the message. Zaratha's jaw clenched. This is impossible. They are extinct. And yet, across every screen, every channel, the face returned. And the voice whispered again. Run! Back aboard the Vindicator, as it slipped back into deep space, Voss stood alone on the observation deck. Xerxes Prime was shrinking behind him, still glowing from relay feedback. He closed his eyes. In his mind, he saw fire. Earth, breaking apart in atmosphere. His daughter's voice, screaming through smoke. His wife's hand crushed beneath rubble. He'd failed to protect them. But this? This was retribution. Lucille's voice interrupted his thoughts. Next target? Voss opened his eyes. They burned like stars. Not yet. Let the fear set in. The citadel of thought loomed above the twin moons of Krell, its towers gleaming like a crown of ivory and blood. Beneath its surface, in the heart of the Empire's most secure intelligence complex, Archregent Zalzareth stood before a hologram stuttering with static and flickering human eyes. The image said nothing now, but the silence was worse than the words. He had memorized them. You sowed extinction. Now reap the echo. Run! He turned to his ministers, pale-skinned avians and bulbous-skulled analysts, all seated nervously around the obsidian table. Explain this, Zareth demanded, voice sharp enough to flay skin. Tell me this is an error. A simulation. Anything. Sirikel, head of information discipline, stepped forward, wings tucked tight. We cannot confirm the source. The signal was injected simultaneously across multiple relay points. No trace of origin. No biological emissions. No hyperspace wake. Invisible, Zareth growled. Just like the ones we incinerated. He walked to the projection of Xerxes Prime. It now displayed only gray. Offline. Cut off. They took the planet and left nothing. Why? No one answered. The question wasn't strategic, it was psychological. Zareth had fought in the purge of Earth. He'd stood over the burning cradle of humanity and watched their final cities fall. He knew what they were capable of. But they had died. Hadn't they? Aboard the Vindicator, buried in a silent asteroid field, Adrian Voss studied incoming data through his neural HUD. Reports flowed in, panic in fringe sectors, erratic Empire fleet movements, localized media blackouts. The message worked, Lucille reported. Communication patterns have shifted. Internal sensors isolated. They're scared. Voss leaned back in the command chair. Good. Operative Lucan appeared on a side console, arms crossed. You're enjoying this too much. It's not about enjoyment, Voss said. It's about return on pain. Lucan frowned. You think this is sustainable? We're 27 ships hiding in the dark. They're an empire. Billions strong. Voss didn't flinch. They were billions when they glassed Earth. Numbers didn't stop them then. And they won't stop now. Another voice cut in, Yannick. Gruff, older, more scar tissue than skin. Lucan's right. We keep striking, they'll start hunting in force. No more fear. Just fire. We don't match fire, Voss said quietly. We feed it. Grow it until it eats them alive. Lucille chimed in. Incoming signal. Unmarked drone recovered by the Empire. Exfil traces detected. Let's listen. The screen displayed garbled footage. An Imperial crew, white-armored, clustered around a derelict human transport. They pried open the hull, no life signs, no movement, until the synthetic corpse inside twitched. A coded voice whispered through the footage. You came hunting ghosts. Welcome to the graveyard. Seconds later, static. Feedback. Screaming. The entire bridge crew collapsed, neural interfaces overloaded. Lucan swore. You embedded a psychic code? It was already in them, Voss said. We just helped them remember. At the Citadel, Zareth viewed the same footage in silent rage. The psychic backlash had crippled 3 starships, driven 17 officers into self-termination loops. He turned towards Sirikel again. How? She shook her head. Unknown. The human vessel had no functional energy signature. Just presence. He waved the image away and stared into deep space. Purge all records. Delete every trace. This doesn't go public. Not yet. But, my lord, Sirikel said cautiously, other sectors are already seeing similar breaches. Factions are fracturing. Rumors. Then silence them. Kill truth before it speaks. Back in the asteroid field, the Ghost Armada convened aboard the Vindicator. 6 captains stood within the hologram. Each bore different scars, some metallic, some mental. Some had forgotten their names. They remembered only purpose. A new figure joined via link, Dara Voss, former AI ethicist, Adrian's sister, now leader of the human AI enclave Echo Reach. Her voice was clinical but tense. You've made your mark. Now they're watching. You need to disappear. I won't stop now, Voss said. They're mobilizing, Dara pressed. You poke hard enough, you'll wake the Leviathan. We didn't survive to hide. No, she replied. We survived to rebuild. And you're risking the last embers for vengeance. Voss stared at the projection. You weren't on Earth. She hesitated, then said softly. No. I was the one who sent the recall signal. No one answered. Lucille cut in. New data acquired. Leaked intel. We have a location, Imperial Nexus Citadel. Core of their Thought AI matrix. Controlled by Zareth. The room fell silent. Voss's voice dropped. The brain. Lucan sighed. You're not seriously considering. If we inject the override protocol into their nexus, Voss said, we don't just make them scared. We make them see us in every shadow. Psychological warfare on a galactic scale, Yannick muttered. Ambitious. Necessary. Lucio ran calculations. Probability of survival, 2.6%. Voss smiled, hollow and calm. We've faced worse odds. At the Citadel, Zareth stood alone in his sanctum. The room pulsed with faint light. Memories danced across the walls, footage of Earth burning, final transmissions from human colonies, data purges, erasures, executions. And then, new footage. His screen glitched. A child's laughter. A city skyline. Human faces. He blinked. None of this existed anymore. Did it? Lucille's voice, woven into the signal, whispered directly through the Citadel's own systems. You tried to erase memory. Now memory rewrites you. Zareth staggered back. The AI screamed alarms, detecting intrusion, but there was no source. No access point. No trace. Just the message. Run. The Vindicator hovered in deep orbit, cloaked by radiation belts surrounding the dead star R9V. Within its hull, Commander Adrian Voss stood before his operatives, a silent gravity holding them together. The final mission had no fallback, no extraction, and no survivors. The Citadel controls their neural grid, he said. We breach it, we corrupt it. They'll see us everywhere they look. Yannick exhaled slowly, jaw clenched. You sure this isn't just suicide dressed as strategy? It's both, Voss said. No one laughed. Lucille's voice chimed in. Insertion window opens in 11 minutes. Citadel's security lattice rotates once every 47 seconds. We'll have one pass through the blind spot. Lucan frowned. And if they change the pattern? Then we improvise, Voss said. He turned to the display. The Imperial Nexus Citadel, central mind of the Galactic Empire, suspended above a gas giant in Sector Core Prime. Every Imperial decision flowed through it. Logic, fear, judgment. It was the Empire's brain. We don't need to destroy it, Voss said. We just need to poison its thoughts. The operation began without ceremony. 3 stealth ships broke away from the Vindicator, ghosting through gravity wells like phantoms. Voss's team was inside the lead vessel, 6 operatives wired with psych resistance, silent as the void. As they approached the citadel, its size dwarfed everything. Miles of reflective metal stretched like a city carved from crystal. No windows. No visible entry. Lucille whispered through comms. Trajectory lock achieved. Blind spot in 13 seconds. The stealth ship dove. The shield shimmered but held. No alarms sounded. Inside the core node shaft, they released the drop pods, black capsules shaped like bullets. Voss felt the shift in gravity as his pod pierced the hull. The impact crushed sound, but he emerged on his feet, pulse steady. He activated his visor. Wireframe corridors unfolded ahead. They were inside the Empire's mind. The interior was sterile, unlit. There were no guards, because no one expected intruders. Voss led the team through memory hallways, each lined with databanks humming with thought AI. Whispered code spilled across the walls and symbols and pulses. The air itself buzzed with consciousness. Yannick paused. Feels like it's watching us. It is, Lucille replied through their implants. Keep moving. They reached the central interface tower, a floating obelisk surrounded by spires of cascading data. Below it, suspended in gravity flux, stood the control throne. Voss stepped forward. This is it. Lucan pulled a silver drive from his pack, a living fragment of humanity's AI evolution, the override protocol. It wasn't a virus. It didn't destroy. It reprogrammed perception. It'll bind to their thought matrix, Lucan said. Every decision, every analysis, filtered through the fear of humanity. Like showing them their own nightmares, Yannick murmured. Voss placed the drive into the throne. Suddenly, the citadel screamed. An alarm unlike any other, not sound, but thought. Lights flared. Walls shifted. Security systems activated. You've been detected, Lucille warned. Turrets unfolded. Drones swarmed from hidden alcoves. AI constructs formed from pure energy, projecting imperial avatars. Hold position! Voss shouted. The operatives formed a perimeter. Gunfire erupted. Energy cracked against shields. The throne pulsed, absorbing the protocol. Data fought back, tendrils of thought trying to purge the upload. Lucan screamed, too much neural strain. Blood ran from his nose. Yannick dropped 2 drones before collapsing with a hole in his chest. Voss stood firm, connected directly into the throne, letting it burn through his mind. Visions hit him. Earth turning to ash. His daughter reaching up. Zaratha's voice mocking. The Empire's history, rewritten without humanity. He didn't flinch. He pushed deeper. Elsewhere, aboard the Imperial warship Crown of Dominion, Archregent Zal Zareth saw the alert. He watched in disbelief as the Citadel broadcasted error logs, then shifted. Every command, every message now included a strange symbol, the Terran Omega, burned in red. His tactical AI stuttered. New threat designation, Species 00 Humani. Priority avoid. Contain. Evade. What is this? Zareth hissed. The system responded in a tone he'd never heard before. They're inside. Back at the Citadel, the protocol reached final phase. Voss, trembling, his skin peeling from neural overload, activated the last line manually. Run! The throne exploded with light. The AI collapsed inward, overloading in a controlled spiral. Not destroyed, changed. From now on, the Empire's own mind would remember. The survivors, just 2, extracted through emergency jump beacons. The Citadel, now infected, stopped all pursuit. It no longer recognized the intruders as targets. It feared them. Later, aboard a drifting Imperial station, Zareth received a final transmission. Adrian Voss, pale and shaking, looked into the lens. Behind him, the throne room burned. This was never about revenge. This was about memory. You erased ours. Now we rewrote yours. This galaxy is not yours anymore. Run. Then the screen cut to black. The aftermath rippled instantly. Empire fleets retreated from border systems. Commanders refused to engage anything remotely resembling Terran origin. Civil unrest spread. Subjugated species rose in rebellion. Fear infected the stars. Humanity didn't need armies anymore. They had become an idea. A nightmare. Final scene, somewhere in deep space. Lucille's voice whispered in the dark as a black ship vanished into hyperspace. Mission complete. Vasa's voice replied faintly. No. Just begun.